Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining the webinar on iVend add-on development. My name is Agnish and I have my colleague Priya with me.
Hello everyone.
We will be your host for today. I am also joined in today by the set of panelists who will help me in delivering the session and also answer your queries. Much as I would like to start the session now, let's give a couple of minutes for everyone to settle down and also for the people who are joining in. I would like to share with everyone that we have an overwhelming response for today's session where people have joined in from all parts of the world. So very good morning, afternoon and evening to everyone. Before we start, a few housekeeping item list. For today's session, you can chat with our panelists. You can also ask question using ask question option in your GoToWebinar panel. You can also use raise hand option to raise your hand and we will unmute your line for you to ask the questions. In any case, we will have question and answer session at the end of this webinar. Now, I will take the session forward. This is the agenda for today's session. We will talk about iVend Extensibility Add-on Development Framework. First, we will cover the overview, silent features, then workflow and event propagation. Next is how to develop an add-on, then how to customize the UI, few custom validations, and then iVend UI and business logic events, data management, packaging and deployment, limitations, and then last artifacts. So that's developer guide, samples and KB articles, and at last then question and answer session. iVend Retail Add-on Framework is used for writing custom business logic and enhanced business application functionality. Extended business logic is then deployed as an add-on application centrally in enterprise iVend, which then get automatically replicated to entire retail landscape across all the stores. So you do not need to go and install add-on in each and every store. So it is managed centrally, and you can run multiple add-ons in parallel. You can also prioritize add-ons that can be run for a specific iVend store. iVend Retail add-on also allows you to extend business logic in management console and terminal POS only. So that is that you cannot make add-on for mobile POS, or let's say for e-commerce or for our integration service for a time being. So currently it works only with management console and terminal POS. Few silent features. So add-on framework facilitates to extend UI layer. So what you can do is you can create new custom screens. You can extend any existing system screen. You can have new custom buttons on existing screens. You can modify or capture events for existing UI controls on the screens, new menu item, so on and so forth. You can also create your own custom screens to extend application feature functionality. You can add new custom menus and control and system screens. So this is what we had just covered. And then globalization support on system and custom screen is there. You can always extend application business logic. Framework also allows you the events to be overridden for most of the activities what application does today. And then you can publish add-on per store level and then prioritize the execution as well. We will see this demo today. Very importantly, you can also version control your add-on. Now that means, so if you are productizing your add-on and if you have delivered a version of your add-on to your end customer, later if you develop anything new, then you can always give an incremental version to the existing customers. This is important. and then creation of user-defined field and user-defined table. So in the base application, it is allowed to create user-defined field from the GUI. But when you create an add-on, you have to give the complete solution in one package. And you might need to create few user-defined fields or user-defined tables altogether new for your custom requirements. So now with this new framework, you can create user-defined fields and the tables programmatically while installing and starting your add-on. Next is that iVend DB context is accessible for SQL query executions. So for example, if any field which is currently not accessible via the object model, then you might need that data for processing. And now in this framework, now the database, you do not need to actually create or manage the connection strings for iVend database. So the point is that when you are running in the framework, add-on framework, it automatically gives you the currently connected database context to you, whereby you can execute your select statements and you get your desired data, and then you can so that you can process in your add-on. Next is hardware and receipt events are accessible in the add-on framework. So it helps a lot when you have to capture the MSR or let's say scan event in your custom screens. Printer events are again very important. They are also accessible, available in framework. You can always generate custom reports using iVend reporting tool, which can then be linked to your add-on. So this helps in making the solution complete. Going forward, the next topic is iVend retail add-on workflow and event propagation. Here, we will explain you how add-on actually works. So if we look at the flowchart, it says that when you start, then you need to go through the customer requirement document. Now, can add-on achieve this requirement? If the answer is yes, then create an add-on using iVend retail add-on framework. Then package the add-on containing the project DLL. So once the add-on is packaged, you need to register it in your HO, which is Enterprise iVend. You need to register the add-on there for once, and then you restart your management console. It automatically asks for the restart. Now, once that is done, then the replication engine, the iVend standard replication engine, will take your add-on to the complete retail landscape, and based on your preferences of the stores, the add-on will be activated automatically. Now the iVend, and then add-on starts working on iVend management console and retail POS. So for whatever you have modified or enhanced the business logic and functionality, you will be able to see the output, and that's where the flowchart ends. The important point here is it allows store level add-on configuration to decide execution on specific stores. This is about workflow. Next is iVend retail event propagation. So now how it happens is that iVend as a standard application keep working, and at every moment when user do something on screen, the event used to get generated. Once it is generated and raised, so in add-on framework, it is written that you subscribe to few events. So we will show you in sample project today how you subscribe to event. So once you subscribe to that, and once event is raised, you get the control in your add-on project. Now, when event is raised in management console and point of sale, it comes to the add-on layer. Once it comes there, then it asks internally to the system, is event handled in add-on? So if you have overridden the existing event, and that means you are implementing your own custom logic on that event, then you get the control, and the system will perform the action specified in the handler, which is written by you in your custom code. And if it is executed successfully, then it goes back to check if there is any other add-on which is also asking for the same event. Then this cycle continues. Otherwise, once if there is no further add-on left to execute the same event, then it goes to end. So this is how very simply this event propagation works in iVend retail application. Okay, today's hot topic, how to develop an add-on. Now, earlier with iVend 6.4 version, we used to give a Visual Studio template which need to be imported here, and then the project should be based on that. Then only you can make an add-on very easily. But now with the new framework, we have introduced a lot of new capabilities in the framework, with which one is that now it is more simplified to create a new project for a programmer. What you need to do is just go in Visual Studio. Currently we are using Visual Studio 2013. So Visual Studio 2013 is compatible, and so what you need to do is create a new class library. Our preferred language in which we code is Visual Studio Visual C#, but you can also use VB.NET. So you need to create a new class library kind of a project, give a name to a project, and create the project. Once it is created, you will see quite a simple project like this. What you are actually supposed to do is that you need to reference 2 DLLs and a retail pause exe all the time in your project. Now you can always locate these DLL and exe in the folder where your base iVend application is installed. So yeah, and then once you reference 3 DLLs, now this is the first class file which by default get created in Visual Studio. If not, then you can always add a new class file for yourself, a plain vanilla class file. Give it any relevant name for yourself by yourself. Once it's there, then you just need to put one using csx.retail.extensibility in that class. And very importantly, you need to inherit at least one class in the project from base plugin. So this base class is there defined in CSX Retail Extensibility. You have to inherit from this class file. If once you do that, you will automatically, and after that you do not need to do much. You just need to write override word, and you will see that you have all the function and the properties which are overridable and public will be available to you. My colleague Priya will explain you one by one here while we will run through a sample, and then Priya will explain you how and what is the use of these properties and where they are relevant in the add-on. So we will come back to this kind of sample, basic sample again. Now going forward, now if let's say my plugin class, my first base plugin class is defined, then I have added one more class file. Again, you'll see the same kind of references. And here you'll see I have added few more using statements here. And now my requirement today in my sample application is to add custom buttons, or let's say, or I would like to override any event of a vendor screen in my management console. Now with iVend Retail 6.5 add-on framework, new add-on framework, we have also already given SDK guide, which is a developer guide, which explains how do you identify what is the class names and all the relevant references, so that it should be very easy for a developer to identify which class they need to inherit from. So if I, for example, I gave in this current example, I would like to add a, let's say, custom button in a vendor class in management console. Ideally, let me just go back to my health file. So this is how my SDK guide looks like. It has many sections, so we will revisit this structure a little later. Just to let you know that I will simply go to the relevant developer guide section, and then I will move to user using data interface, and then to the events and the management console events. So currently I'm looking forward for the vendor screen, I will click here, and now it shows me very clearly that if I need to, let's say, on after save is the event which I need to override, I would like to write my custom code on that. Then in this case, it clearly shows me that the assembly which I need to inherit in my class where I would like to override this event, then this gives me assembly name. So I just simply use this assembly name and go back to my project and inherit from this assembly name. Once you do that, you just need to write override word. After that, you will get only the relevant event and the function names which are overridable for the vendor screen in management console. So this is the enhancement from iVend 6.4 to 6.5. Now if you see, the scroll is quite less here, so it's very easy to target and from a programmer standpoint that what exactly we would like to do and what is available from the framework. So it's very easy to code this way. All right, going forward. And now I would like to hand over now to Priya, and she would help us in creating a sample add-on, and then she'll install it, and we'll install it together later once we come to the installation and packaging section. But she will make us understand how a base application can be made in Visual Studio and what can be done then further. So we'll come to UI customization after this. So I'm handing over the control to Priya. Priya, over to you.
Thanks, Agnish. So as Agnish told that only a class library project we need to create. So we are going to create a sample basic add-on which will give you a brief idea of how add-on 6.5 works. So I'm going to add a class library project. Let's name it relevantly. So here I'm going to make this as a plugin class. I'm naming it as plugin just for my reference. Basically, this plugin class will tell iVend system that this is an add-on, because we are not using any template or anything earlier as we were using. So we're going to make it, and to make it a plugin class, I need some references. We'll go to the installation path of iVend, that is program files. So because I have already opened it, it led me to this path. So the main DLL is cxs.retail.extensibility. This is the main DLL which is used. So I'm going to use this. Also few other DLLs, because our add-on is going to target management console and pause. So I'm going to refer to the relevant DLLs, which are cxs.retail.management UI components. This one. And the cxs retail pause exe. You can find it in the point of sale folder here. So these are the three basic DLLs we'll be requiring. I have added this, and now I'm going to use for base plugin. Base plugin is the class I have inherited, and now write override, and here's the list of all the properties and methods. Basically, these are the properties which will make the add-on as add-on, how the system is going to read it. So you have to give it a name. This is an important thing. This property needs to be overridden because iVend add-on provides you a version control facility. So you have to provide the version name. Here is a sample add-on I have already created. You can refer to that. This is where we have specified the version info. Just have to maintain the version like this. I'm going to start with this format. Importantly, we get a method, a start, which is the method or event that fires when the iVend add-on starts. So if you have any validations or any kind of function you want to get performed on the start of the event of the add-on, you can specify it this way. I'm only going to put a message box. For this I need a reference. So on start of this add-on, we'll be getting this message. We'll later see how this message pops up when we'll be deploying and then running this add-on. So this is the basic add-on. And now, as Agnish described about the project where we want to add custom buttons on our vendor view screen. So I'm going to add another class. Name it I have to use the namespaces. Okay, to add the custom button panel or to decide which module base, which class we have to inherit, we can refer to our SDK guide, which says this is customer view module based. So I've referred.
It is in the module business partner. So
Yes,
yeah.
this is in the modules business partner. So for for different functionality, you can you can get different modules. So if you see this way, okay, accessibility modules. So these are all the modules. There are all the modules. Like business partner is for vendor or customer, and customers we have this for fulfillment. This inventory has all the classes for product related things, and then payment, and then we have this transaction for which has all the classes which are exposed for POS, like point of sale. So for point of sale, if you have to use any class, any module base, you have to use modules.transaction. For now, I'm going to replace it. And now I get all the events. These are the list of events. The two events, on view initialize and on globalize, which can be used. On view initialize will get fired when this particular screen will pop up once. On globalize can be used for globalization purposes. You can change the labels, you can change the color of labels, you can change make changes in the grids which are used in the screen, basically in any control. We have this pattern of events like on before and on after. So on vendor screen, basically these are the four things we have provided. On before save, which refers to the click of OK button. On before cancel, and on after cancel, which refers to the cancel button. Delete and save, delete and on before delete, and on after delete for the delete purpose.
So it is basically like if we have a system button on the iVend screen, then let's say if it is a OK button. Now iVend base code will get executed on the click of a OK button. But via extensibility, we have an option whereby you either can execute your code on the before action, before iVend code get executed, or after action. That means once iVend is done with its transaction, then later it gives you control that my transaction is committed. Now you can do your additional stuff in the after action. Right, Priya?
Yes. Okay, so because to move further, that is, we have to put some custom buttons, like the other than the 12 buttons allowed, we can anyway put another set of 12 buttons in our screen. So to do that, on initialize, as you can see, this is the sender, which refers to the screen, which the view which has been initialized. So first we'll have to get that view.
So to understand this better, Priya, can we go back to the GUI?
Yes.
And the vendor screen first?
Yes.
Now,
this is the screen.
okay.
Like the requirement is to get another custom button panel on this screen.
So this is one button panel,
yes,
whereby you have an option to put 12 buttons at the max in one button panel. Right. This is the default panel. Right. Now the requirement is to put one more button panel underneath, so that you can have your own custom buttons, one more band of button, which is like 12 buttons in one go maximum in this screen. Right. Right?
So we will have to know this screen name. You can do this simply by going to the screen. Okay, right click on OK, and you can get the view name.
So this is the view name of the screen, vendor add edit view.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are going to use this screen. I'm going to name it. Okay, so because we are going to add views, if you can see, here is the DevX grid, DevX buttons, and the DevX layout control. So to have that, we'll have to first refer to some DLLs which will make us able to refer to this. We'll go to the management console folder. We will get retail.ui components. As the name suggests, it gives all the UI related functionality. There it is. Another thing, because the DevX controls has been used, we'll have to refer to those as well. DevX grid has been used, so the relevant DevX extra grid. There is a vertical grid and extra grid. Now you can easily resolve this. The view is available this way.
So this particular function on view initialize is nothing but the form load, right?
Yeah, you can.
It is equivalent to form load. So you get the control right at the form load.
So I have casted the sender as this view. Now, if you see, the view has got so many things. Here is the buttons. First, we'll have to create some CSS buttons. For your reference, I have already coded this. We can refer to that.
You can copy. For a timing, you can copy.
Yeah. I can explain it here. Like CSS button, which provides you the functionality to add the button. We can put it this way. They're not going to get it because another DLL is required. Basically, when you are going to enhance UI, you have a major list of DLLs. Related to UI, platform.ui. So just here, I'm going to name this button as button 1. You can see this way. I've used add custom button method. You can write the event handler for this button. Like this. Here I have added all the 12 buttons and written the 12 handlers for this.
Yeah, this is good.
Another question rises, because we are providing 12 buttons functionality, can we add the 13th button? Basically, you can code for that, but system doesn't allow it because we have a band of 12 buttons only.
So it's fixed 12 limit, right?
Yes.
So at compile time, it doesn't stop you.
Yes.
But at runtime, you will get an exception.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I have mentioned it like this. You can, I have written the...
These are the handlers, right, for individual buttons. So then whatever, it's like Windows application now on, whatever you want to do on the click of a button.
The only thing is you have to take care of the references, because DevX controls are used. I have referred to DevX and the DXS DLLs are mentioned this way.
The point is, Priya, that it is not mandatory to use DevX control all the time. Even if I need to create only new custom screens and I don't have DevX license with me, then I can go for Windows control also. But if I need to modify any existing screen, then I need it.
Yes.
Right?
Because in our system we are using DevX controls.
Yeah.
And if you want to refer to DevX and you don't have installed, you can get it from the management console folder, like the default location, installation location of the iVend.
All right. So even I don't need the license to modify the existing screen. All right. Clear.
You never use the license.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So this is done from my side. We can move on, and later we will show you how to package, deploy, and debug it.
Compiling and all that. We will see it later.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Over to you, Atish.
So we'll come back to the PowerPoint presentation now. All right. Okay. Now we understood till this point. Now the next topic, very important from an add-on standpoint, is by now we have seen the base application, base add-on application, where you create one class file, you provide some property values which defines add-on, that is the name, description, the company name, who's making the add-on, and the version number, so on and so forth, which helps the system to identify the add-on and register it. And we have seen one more sample in Visual Studio from Priya, is that if I need to modify any existing screen, if I would like to put one more additional button in one of the system screen, how do we do that? Though we haven't seen the output, we haven't compiled it yet, we will do it a little later. So the next topic what comes is that, which we have seen already to an extent, but yeah, let's go through that topic, that how do we customize the iVend Retail GUI. So creating custom screens and custom menus using DevX and window control. So it's possible to use DevX or window controls both to customize the screens or create a new custom screen altogether in management console or in POS using add-on framework. Now, few things what you can do with UI customization is that add-on framework enables UI control on the system screen accessible to the custom code. That is, for example, what you can do is you can hide the fields, you can mark them mandatory, and specify acceptable ranges and length for a particular text field. You can add custom screens to iVend retail applications similar to like existing screens. You can also use Microsoft Window Form controls or DevX controls for customization. Both are compatible. You can create new touch screen enabled custom screens. So like, for example, if you create a new custom screen on POS, and if users are only using touch screen, so it's very much possible to make window screen which are touch enabled. And you can data input via a new floating keyboard which is available on your custom screens as well via add-on framework. You can extend globalization capabilities of the custom screen. So for example, if you have to give or show your screen, let's say in Arabic language, or for that matter in Spanish, so it's very much possible. You can manage your global resource strings in resource files or from the database, and then you have a specific globalization event which will help you to segregate your code in the class level, and it's then easy to manage your globalize. You can enable your add-on to act like a globalized application, and you can extend support of hardware events on your custom and system screen like signature capture devices, printer, barcode scanners, etc. Few more points that you can add custom menus on point of sale application and management console to open a custom screen. So it opens up new opportunities to create new business object or transactions which are not there currently in iVend, and if you have a business need for that, so you can plan your database as user-defined tables, and you can plan your new UI either in management console or in POS using custom menu and screens. You can like manager override functionality is always there, but then it works in a fashion the way you define in management console. But then if you would like to override that functionality and want to extend it, then you can do that with the framework now, with the new framework. Now, next is that you can have custom button panel on your existing system screen, which we will see in a little later, and it is allowed to show now. If we look at the terminal POS, you have a transaction grid, and you always had the line level attributes. So if user need to put in some value, they always need to go to the line edit, and then that data is saved all the time in the line attributes, but they are behind the scene. They are not visible on the POS screen. With this new framework now, even you can programmatically add those line attribute columns in your transaction grid. So whatever data capture you do on either on the custom screens or on the line edit screen, you can make them visible in your main transaction screen based on your requirements.
Also, you can rename them anyway.
So the column name can be renamed. Column names can be renamed for the line attributes. Great. Now, extending the ability to add custom columns in a vertical or a horizontal grid of the system screens. So you always have a vertical or a horizontal grid in the iVend screens. You can always add new custom columns in vertical or horizontal grids. You can add buttons to existing button panels also. So now the point is, these are so many things what you can do with UI customization for iVend POS. So just to let you know that we have tried our best to give you all possible samples for whatever I have just spoken about. So what you need to do is you need to be a registered user in, let's say, in Knowledge Portal. Once you go to CityAccess, knowledge.cityAccess.com, the last menu is for the extensibility. Once you are a registered user, you will come to this one-stop shop landing page for extensibility. All the things are here when it comes to extensibility. So with respect to today's topic, we are covering add-on development. So if you go to add-on development section and the document section, if you navigate to sample projects for iVend 6.5, you will see lot of samples here, lot of samples which cover most of the capabilities of the framework when it comes to add-on development. Now samples are here, and then guide is already available as I showed you before, the SDK guide. I will explain the guide a little later. So guide is there. Knowledge articles, they keep on coming all the time. So anything what you want to do, you will have at least a knowledge article ready with you to go through. All the webinar like this will be placed here in e-learning video section. Very importantly, we have a training kit also available, in which day one always cover add-on application development. Now you can go through the presentation, sample, guide, lab exercises on your own to train yourself and your team members using the kit. You can download the day one kit or the complete kit based on your needs. So this is about it. And if I go back to the presentation, then This is how the way Priya explained that you need to have how do you customize the UI. Very importantly, we need to understand that whenever we have a new custom screen, it need to inherit from base console custom view. This is the only important thing you need to remember, so that iVend understands that this screen is going to come inside, or rather pushed inside the management console main MDI window. So that it will gel into the application and you'll be able to see a screen like any other system screen. So this is going to help you there.
This custom screen is nothing but a user control which has been inherited. And once inherited, it will look like this, plain like this. You can customize it, rename the title header, visible, make visible, or make changes to the button, add more controls, and you can make it your screen. But because you are inheriting from this base console custom view, you can the screen will open like any other screen in management console. So like the existing screen only. For this, to open the screen, we are going to add a new menu item. So here is how we have added a new menu item. So basically this is nothing but a sample project you can anyway get from the CKP knowledge.citaxis portal. You can go there and get this sample. Also a knowledge article for this. So this is, show this from here. So this is the plugin class. As you can see, this is the plugin class. On start, I have added a menu category which will have my on menu item. This is the console menu category. You can get all this when you are on base plugin class, on your plugin class. You have to define it. And this sample category and menu item custom category has been added in this class. Console menu category command base is the class which you have to inherit. And this way I have explained a category, renamed this as custom category. I can provide which position you want in your MC, in your management console, under which group I want this to be shown. Like if we go to management console, show you here we have three major section: administration. So I want my custom menu category to be under administration group. So I have coded it like this. This is what it shows. Console menu group is administration, and then the position is 1, which will default the first menu category. You can change it. You can put this menu category this way. I have named this menu option, menu item as custom MC screen, which will open my MC. The execute is the method which get fired on the click of this menu item. So I have created a new instance of my custom screen, and console view manager is the class which will push it to the main MDI form of management console.
So this screen will be opened as a child to the main MDI,
right?
And okay, all right.
It shows that we are referring to these DevX references, DLLs, as I told you earlier, because we are using DevX controls. These are necessary. You can get it from the iVend install location. So this covers adding new custom screen and menu using DevX and Windows control. The next is UI customization. We have customized existing screen. As Agnish mentioned a point that you can add new rows and new columns to DevX grids, and also you can change the colors of buttons or the row heights, any appearance. You can make changes to the grid. So this is the sample for that. On this we are going to change the purchase order view. You can see it from here. The target is to change this grid. I don't want the vendor name to appear like this, but I want the status row to have more width than all other rows, or the comment row to have more space than any other rows. So you can make changes this way. You will implement the relevant module base from referring to the SDK guide or the samples or knowledge articles. You will get the view, and then on view you will get the grid, m_grid view, you can see, and then you will get the all the properties available to be customized on this grid. So I am here changing on the main grid. I am changing the row height
and the back color.
And the back color.
All
nothing,
right.
Nothing much. You can.
All right. So this is about how you customize the existing screens. Now, very importantly, if you need to put in some custom validations on the existing screens. So for example, if I look at the screen on after save, on let's say if I'm on a purchase order screen and on after save, I would like to cancel the event or give error message in the way iVend shows error message. I would like to also show my custom error message on some validation on after action or on before action. So there are ways how you can do that. One is that you always get this argument and you can specify the message property and the message type, whether it is going to be an information, error, question, whatever it is. That will come in the main band, the error band.
Like the validations you get in management console and pause right away, you will get this message as this only. If it's information, it will appear on the top of the screen.
Second way is that you use standard Windows message box. Yeah. Now, third is that if you would like to cancel the add-on event itself, you need to use this property arc cancel equal to true, and then you can give your own custom message. So you have four options. Either you can give error, information, none, or warning type of message.
Arc cancel will basically nullify this event, and the further code will not get executed unless your condition is satisfied.
Now, so just to summarize that add-on framework provides ability to subscribe to iVend UI and business logic events. So on view initialize, you have seen OK and cancel event we have explained you. So you always have before and after events of button clicks. And UI events like button click, drop down, vertical, horizontal button grids. So these all are available. They can be extended using the framework. Now, as I already said, that you're going to have on globalize event, which will help you in implementing your globalization of the system on custom screens as well. So hardware events are available. And then for business logic events, so for example, if I am on the transaction commit, so I always have after and before event for my business logic events also. So they are still available with the framework like before. Now, some UI events. So as we have showed you again, showed you previously that when you inherit for a purchase order view, then you just by writing override, you get the list of all the events which are available. So going forward,
it only shows the kind of objects, the kind of events, and where you can do with the purchase order view module base.
So I think this example, Priya, you have already shown, and this is how the event handlers methods are linked to the events for a particular grid, right? And going forward,
these are the business logic events as we
like
were
before.
talking. Yeah.
Like it was also available in iVend 6.4.
Right.
All right. Now, next topic is data management. You can add user-defined table, user-defined fields. We're using business objects through add-on framework. You will always have a DB context available, whereby you can do a direct communication to the iVend database using the extensibility framework. So, for example, if you need to create a user-defined table, you write quite something like this on your base plugin class, and this will help you in creating the user-defined table at runtime into the application. So, yeah.
This is a sample project which is also available on the portal.
CKP. And then this is how you define the fields inside the table. So you will have even an option for valid values. You can define the type. You can attach it to a user-defined table. You can mark it mandatory, searchable, display only properties for individual fields. All right. Going forward, if you need to execute a SQL query, you do not need to do much. You just need to follow this sample code, which is all the time available on CKP, and without even giving the connection strings, you can execute your SQL queries very well. Okay. Now, about packaging and deployment and other topics, I would like to continue this section, and actually whatever samples we have created today, we would like to show you the output and how do you package and deploy and how do you debug the add-on. I would like to continue this session tomorrow in the second part 2 of the webinar. And so if I quickly move today from this section, then so please refer to these resource link in case you missed any step during the session. And so we have product documentation, knowledge base articles, and sample projects available in CKP. And the presentation slide and the recording of this webinar will be available shortly on Knowledge Portal. So I will open the forum for the questions. Forum is now open for the related questions. Anybody who has a question, please raise your hand and leave the question in your chat window. So anybody who has questions, you can always raise your hand, and if you want, I can unmute your line. With this, I am concluding today's session. Looking forward to the same participation in our next subsequent session tomorrow as well. For more information, there are other channels available like support, forum on CityAccess Knowledge Portal, and so on. So you can directly also contact us at marketing@cityaccess.com. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.